The Philippine economy grew 6.9% last quarter, exceeded all estimates in a Bloomberg survey and cemented its position as one of the fastest expanding in the country. The nation is emerging as one of the decade's economic stars, with the World Bank predicting growth above 6% until 2019. Let's get over to Manila and join the Philippine Economic Planning Secretary, Ernesto Pernia. Minister, an amazing set of figures came through yesterday with the Philippine economy. What's been driving growth?
Yes, indeed. The main drivers really were faster growth in exports and stronger public spending on infrastructure projects, as well as better performance of manufacturing, which grew faster than the service sector on the supply side. So, as well as, steady consumer spending by households.
It was against this backdrop, with money coming in from abroad, and I'm talking mainly about money coming in from people as they send money back to their families, etc., etc. That fell back to some extent, and that must present good news for the economy, because you don't want to be reliant on those migratory money flows.
That's exactly right. I think it's steadily we should be moving away from too much dependence on remittances from overseas Filipino workers, and depend more on exports and domestic spending, public spending on infrastructure, as well as we still have our BPOs doing very well. Business process outsourcing still doing very well, matching the annual income we get from the remittances from abroad.
One of the things in the third quarter which not really as prevalent as they normally are, and that's the number of typhoons. That's something certainly which helped, wasn't it?
The number of?
Typhoons that you had.
Typhoons. Yes, actually, this was a relatively lucky year for us. Typhoons were not as destructive as in other years. And we're almost at the end of the year, so we could still have one typhoon or a couple of them before the end of the year. But hopefully those two won't come. It has been a mild year in terms of typhoons.
That's what I was getting at. It has been a mild year, and that's no doubt affected that growth and made it even better than it would have been normally. That was the point I was getting. Just agreeing with me with regard to that. Dollar, a bit of a weakness against the dollar.
In fact, agriculture did not perform well as. In fact, the growth of agriculture was lower than in the second quarter. So
why was
agriculture
that?
Well, agriculture is usually the one that's hit by typhoons. Corn and production from fisheries were rather weak this time. Other parts of agriculture did all right, except for corn and fisheries, for some reason.
Of course, all of this... All of this against a backdrop of a accommodative central bank, record low interest rates there. What happens when they start tightening next year, as some are predicting? That's possible, but we actually any tightening will be rather minor, because we still have a lot of we really have a lot of liquidity that we can use on investment and spending, public spending. Well, your Finance Secretary, Carlos Dominguez, says that there's going to be even faster growth in the next 2 quarters. Do you go along with him?
That's correct. In the fourth quarter, we can expect more spending, household spending, as the holiday season is going to be, with us. And next year, we are going to roll out even more flagship projects, or really major big-ticket infrastructure projects.
That's just it, isn't it? There's been so much, I think $180 billion has been earmarked for these infrastructure projects. These are just some of the loans that are in, that have been actually garnered. So, in a way, you're being propped up by that money at the moment as you have fiscal stimulus, in effect.
That's correct. Well, actually, the ODA money for the new big-ticket projects haven't really come in yet. They will be coming in next year because public spending on infrastructure so far has been continuation of unfinished projects from the previous administration.